Hey guys, this is MTG Degree. My name is Luke, and today we're bringing you a Commander deck tech that's all about the combos. More importantly, mill combos. So who's our commander for this deck? It's either Tetsuo Umezawa or Solkanar, the Swamp King. I actually like Solkanar because he's cheaper and he's so bad that nobody will ever think you're up to anything. Alright, so one word of warning before we continue, which is that people get pretty emotional over Commander, and this won't help the situation. Alright, so the first thing that I'd like to go over are lands. Here they are. Next we'll go over our mana rocks. Our first one is Sol Ring, because it's ridiculous, and Gilded Lotus, because it feels so good when you cast it. The last one is Darksteel Ingot, because it makes all the colors, and we're 3 colors, and it's indestructible, and it's very nice. Our next section are tutors. We are a combo deck, so we gotta find our combo pieces. So here's just a list of all the tutors in the deck, and if you don't know what a tutor is, it simply allows you to cast the tutor and find a card you need. So typically you'll have a card you need, and the other piece in your hand and a tutor. So you just use that tutor, now you've got your combo, you're ready to go. Disclaimer here, by the way. I did talk about tutors in a past video, and I said that they were unfun in EDH. And I take it back, alright? When you need to find your combos, you need to find them. I'm sorry. Our next group of cards, I like to call the Group Hug. And the reason why is because these cards allow everyone to draw more cards, and you'll be everyone's best friend until you kill all of them. So these cards will basically make you look harmless and also stupid, because these cards do not help you and also help your opponents. Now, it is important to note that cards like these will accelerate your game extremely fast, so be ready to take people down if they're looking threatening. The next part of our game plan is convincing people that we're going to mill them standardly. So I've got some standard mill cards in here that you'll use on people, and they'll pretty much just laugh. But some of them work well with our other combos, and work well with each other. So let's go over the list. First, we've got Keening Stone. This will just kill someone who can't stop it. Dreamborn Muse. Increasing Confusion, which is nice to cast for 0 and mill someone for nothing so people forget about it, and then flash it back from your graveyard for a lot later. Mind Grind. Grizzly Spectacle, Jace's Archivist, Riddle Keeper, which will keep people off of your back, Telemann Performance, and Induce Paranoia. Alright, the next part is just creature spells that have good value. So the first one is Snapcaster Mage, because buying back a tutor feels good. Gilded Drake, for stealing things you shouldn't be stealing. Coffin Queen. Diluvian Primordial, because. Geth, Lord of the Vault. Haven Ghoul Lich. Mordivore. Rexiol, the Risen Deep. And Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, which, by the way, this guy will be showing up in one of our combos as well. The next section is for just value non-creature spells that are good. So the first one is Devastation Tide, for when things are getting a little too rough. Cyclonic Rift, for the same reason. Bribery, for making other people feel bad. Desertion, for extra feel-bads. The next one is Forbid, because with all of the group hug card drawing that we're doing, Forbid buyback is ridiculous. Crypt Incursion, because you might need life. Venser's Journal. Rise of the Dark Realms, because it is ridiculous. And Worst Fears. Alright, well now we're at my personal favorite part, which is where you get to combo people. So, the first one is quite simple. It is Leyline of the Void. So anything that would go to a graveyard gets exiled instead. Simple. The next part looks really complicated, and it's called Helm of Obedience. You can read the whole thing, but the important thing is that if you pay X, then target opponent has to put X cards from their library to the graveyard, and they must hit the graveyard before the effect stops. However, you have Leyline of the Void out, so their cards never hit their graveyard, and the effect never stops, causing them to exile their entire library in one shot. You pay 1 for X, and they are dead. The thing that I like about this combo is the presentation. So you can present them with Helm of Obedience, which looks like a lot of text, and nobody really wants to read the whole thing. But what they get out of it in the short term is that you can steal a creature sometimes, and it's random, and it's not that good. And then you can play Leyline of the Void later, and because they got that shortcutted knowledge of what your artifact does, then people won't counter it. And then when they don't counter it, you can then helm someone to death immediately, preferably the person that has counters or can get rid of artifacts or enchantments. Our next combo starts with Bloodchief Ascension. If an opponent lost 2 or more life, then you can put a quest counter on it at the end of that turn. Once it has enough quest counters, then it has a super ability, and the super ability is that whenever they mill something, they lose life. The next part is Mind Crank. Whenever someone loses life, they mill. So, basically, if any of your opponents ever take damage, they immediately die as your amazing super combo mills them entirely. Incredible. One thing to note about this is that if someone is tapped out and you have Kami of the Crescent Moon out, they will suddenly be way more afraid of it than they have been this entire time. The combo craziness continues, and as with the other combos, it looks pretty innocuous at the start. We've got Hinder, Spell Crumple, and Spin into Myth. All of these allow you to put spells on the bottom of your opponent's library, and you can do this in such a way that other people appreciate it, like stop them from taking a bunch of damage, and make a friend for a turn, because friends are good in EDH. Now that you've made your friend and you've made one person sad, you can go tutor for the other part of this, which is Tunnel Vision. You name a card, and they reveal cards and throw them into the graveyard until they find that card. Well, you happen to know what's on the bottom of their library, so go ahead and just mill them completely with Tunnel Vision. Feels good. Our next combo actually starts with some of the group hug cards that we have earlier, and they are Temple Bell and Otherworld Atlas. So, you can give people cards with these for several turns and they'll all be happy, and they'll never think of destroying your cute little Temple Bell. And then you'll play Mind Over Matter, and you'll tell them, now, if I discard a card, I can twiddle with your things and be annoying. And they'll say, okay. And when they do, you will tap your Temple Bell, and they'll draw a card and suddenly understand what a big problem they now have. And you will just discard a card, untap your Temple Bell, tap your Temple Bell, draw a card, untap your Temple Bell by discarding a card, and you will do this over and over and over again until all of your opponents have drawn their entire libraries. Now, how do you avoid drawing your own entire library? Well, the answer is with Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. Because when you choose to discard him, you get to put your graveyard into your library, and it's awesome. Now our next and last combo, amazingly, after this huge list of combos, starts off with our board wipe. So things like Damnation, or Nevinral's Disc, or Blasphemous Act. All of these things will be board wipes when you need them, but when you want them to be, they can end the game as well. And the reason why is because we're also playing Vicious Shadows. Our next 3 cards are in there just because I wanted them to be. The first one is Master the Way. You should have a pretty full hand all the time because everyone's group hugging and everything and drawing way too many cards. And so you should be able to deal out a healthy chunk of damage. Maybe finish someone off. That would be nice. So, some people will be drawing cards from your group hug cards and feel the need to draw even more cards, because they're that kind of person. And so they play Consecrated Sphynx and draw way too many cards, and it's ridiculous. So what you do is you wait for them to tap out, alright? And you immediately cast either Rune Flare Trap or Sudden Impact, because they deserve to die for being so darn greedy. And they will die, on the spot. Good job. And of course, when I'm talking about people deserving to die, I am talking about their life total, okay? Whew, alright. The thing that people might not like in your play group is the infinite kill. If the infinite kill is philosophically unallowed because people want to sit around the table and play forever and ever and ever, then this might not be for your play group. Or if you want to go rogue, just go for it. But I personally like EDH games that don't last 10 hours, and I do not mind playing a few infinite combos myself. Alright guys, well I hope that you enjoyed the deck tech for today. It was quite a doozy, really fun play testing and brewing up myself, and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next video.